welcome you to this first lecture related to the week 11 of the course title History of Arabic Literature. There are certain aspects related to Arabic modernism, literary theories and schools of literary criticism. That Arabic modernism in its connection to, in its relation to literary theories and schools of literary criticism, or the development of literary theories in Arabic and schools of literary criticism in their relation to Arabic modernism. Here we will be going through some primary things, some of which we have already seen, which were related to the idea of the concept of modernism in Arabic, and of course literary theories and schools. Some of them we have already seen at primary levels. So here we'll be focusing on certain historical aspects alongside the very ideological foundations, the philosophical foundations of these things, as they have been constituted. They were formed by the literary theorists in the domain of language and literature, in Arabic as well as other languages. In Arabic, when we say Arabic modernism, so again here we have to summarize some of the things we have already seen, that how modernism in Arabic took place, what was the political background shaping the historical, what is the historical and political background responsible for shaping or giving birth to modernism in Arabic. So here again, we have to recollect certain things related to the Mamluk, Ottoman Mamluk relations and emergence of the modern world in the context of West Asia or the Middle East. So Selim first and Tuman Bey are significant in this sequence. The Battle of Maraj al-Dabiq, taking place in 24 August 1516, the Battle of Iridania, Bab Zuela, and the Ottoman Vilayat of Egypt and Sudan, 1517 to 1805. That actually constitutes the heydays of An-Nahda, or the Renaissance reform, a phase of first reform in Arabic, where there have been many governors, Yunus Pasha to Muhammad Ali Pasha, during the Ottoman times, related to Egypt. Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion of Syria and Egypt, the Battle of Pyramids, Murad Bey and Ibrahim Bey, and Napoleon Bonaparte's expeditions in the Mediterranean islands. The battle. This is the image of the Battle of the Pyramids. Jean-Baptiste Kleber, end of the Mamluks, Muhammad Ali Pasha's dynasty rule, and the rulers we have Farooq I and Farooq II, and the relation between Egypt and the Shah of Iran in the course of some events that chiefly Fawzia Fuad, and the marriage of Fawzia Fuad with Muhammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. And that legacy that is associated with this socio-political background. During his Egyptian expedition, Napoleon Bonaparte established a printing press at Alexandria, Cairo, and Giza from 1798 to 1789. This led to this expedition led uh, to a specific discipline of research is known as Egyptology, and Napoleon Bonaparte's Imprimer National, which was a proclamation in Arabic about the establishment of a new Diwan council. So this in Arabic as among the earliest printed texts. Establishment of Institut d'Egypte in 1798, which was founded by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1798, and Gaspard Monge, the first president. There is the building. Description de l'Egypte, or description of Egypt, a grand project ordered by Napoleon Bonaparte, and this has played a very significant role in formation Egyptology, of course. And Courrier d'Egypte, the first issue, the journal, the first issue was published on 29 August 1798, edited by Joseph Fourier, one of the scientists, artists and botanists brought along by Napoleon Bonaparte for the expedition. Egyptomania, Egyptian hieroglyphs typical of the Greek-Roman period. The Bulaq Press, or Al-Matba'atul Amiriya in 1815, and the first book printed in this press, among others, many other things like establishment of Al-Wuqaya al-Masriya as a piece of journalism in 1828, and many missions, academic missions sent by Muhammad Ali Pasha. From 1826 to 1847, there have been 9 missions consisting of a large number of students. Establishment of a large number of schools, like the engineering engineering school in 1816, Muhandis Khana engineering school in Bulaq 1834, medical college in 1827 as proposed by Dr. Claude Beck. Alongside all these institutions like Madrasatul Ma'adin, Madrasatul Muhasaba, Madrasatul Funun wa Sanaya, Madrasatul Saydala, Madrasatul Zira'a, Madrasatul Tibb al-Baitri, Al-Madrasat Tajhiziyya, Al-Madrasat Tajhiziyya bil-Iskandariya, Rifa'a Tahtavis, Madrasatul Alsun, and books written during this period like Al-Bi'asat al-Ilmiyya fi Ahd Muhammad Ali, ثم fi Ahd Abbas al-Awwal wa Sa'id by Amir Omar Tusun. The British in Egypt in different phases, like the veiled protectorate, then the formal occupation, the continued occupation, and the first coup in 1952, led by Jamal Abdel Nasser and Muhammad Naguib, that overthrew the Egyptian monarchy, King Farouk I, and established the modern Republic of Egypt. The last British troops left Egypt in June 1956 as per the 1954 Anglo-Egyptian Agreement, returning briefly during the Suez Crisis, the Ottoman-British Wars, and Khadib Tawfiq, and all these other things they have led to this scenario, which is known as modernism. So in the sequence, we also in the Indian subcontinent we have the example of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan with the issues of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Jamaluddin Afghani, and many others, addressing facing the issues of imperialism and independence, and formulating their own standpoint. So in this scenario, what we find that there evolves a paradigm of language and literature. This scenario leads to birth of a paradigm related to language and literature, with a specific theory of literature, with the emergence of certain genres which were not present before that, like journalism and poetry, that is verse, in fiction, that is novel, short story, etc., drama, essays, literary criticism, literary movements, and schools, the diaspora literature, and other things. So this was the very background that gave birth, that constituted the concept of the theory of or the idea of what is modern and what is modernism. So it was actually a shift from the word from the neoclassical world during the times of the Ottomans, that saw a sort of continuity till the times of Ottomans, and this continuity was broken by the West in the backdrop of the World Wars, first and second, and dismemberment of Ottoman Empire. So that was the political eventuality. But alongside this political eventuality, which has played, which has been noticeable at a plethora of levels in East and West. In East as the victim, and West as the decision maker, as the players of the game. It was visible on both fronts. So this, when seen in the domain of literature, is to be summarized, is to be analyzed, focusing on the very nature of language that was during the classical times, concept of language, concept of the literary discourse, literature as such, like what was poetry all about, what should be the language of poetry, and what's that role actually that is to be played by literature, by literary discourse in society. These issues, these questions, and of course it must be summed up by saying that the times of decay that started with the second phase of the Abbasid period after Bashar, in which language didn't remain intact, it didn't remain standard as to be a source of authentication of language or linguistic parameters or grammatical examples. So this is the point of departure. This point of departure, associated with the further facets of decay and decadence, in thoughts, in projections, in the very fabric of language, which was say there were some efforts, conscious efforts, to compensate them with something that is artificiality. So natural beauty replaced by or augmented by artificial beauty, natural charm of language, the vigor of language, natural force of language. That natural standard that ensured that that language was pure, it was beautiful. Since it was weakened by the tides of time, so there were the efforts to find some alternatives to compensate this lack or decay with artificial embellishment. But this artificial embellishment was not, of course, it could not have been, it could not be taken as a viable alternative, because when it comes to the purity of language, there's hardly any viable alternative. Language has to be pure, it has to be powerful, the thought must be powerful, it must not be weak. So, but In the era of eventualities, the hard realities, and hard realities here do testify the weakness, facets of weakness. So efforts were there to augment, to cement them, to augment them, to cement them, to find some alternatives, to compensate in terms of artificial embellishment. So here, literature remained in a cage. Language was artificial, it was poor, it was weak, and the thought content was again poor. So they remained in a cage, and it was only in the backdrop of aftermath of the interaction between East and West. First, at the stage of the imperial onslaught, coupled by the cultural campaigns of translation of a new education system, as we find in Egypt as well as in India, establishment of different institutions, Fort William College and many other institutions will be having in the Indian subcontinent. And of course, we'll be having the examples of these during the times of Muhammad Ali Pasha, and before that, of course, this drive of a reform that was that we find with Napoleon Bonaparte when he invaded Egypt. So in this background, it was in this background that the Eastern literary quarters, milieux, started revisiting their vision, revisiting their ideology, revisiting their thought paradigms, revisiting their concept of language and literature. And here in this sequence, we find the persons and institutions. Later on, at the later stage, we'll be having institutions like Al-Rabtatul Qalamiyya, Al-Usbat Al-Andalusiyya. Amid migration of scholars, men of letters from east to west, and in the east itself, we'll be finding Jama'atul Diwan, Ashabul Diwan, Abulu, Harakatul Abulu, among others, and the emergence of the modern Arabic poetry, poetry that distanced itself from the facets of decay. Mahmud Sami al-Barudi, like Mahmud Sami al-Barudi and others, Hafiz Ibrahim, whose elegy of Arabic language and literature is very well-known example of versification of the issues related to decay, etc. So this modernist scenario in Arabic language and literature is related invariably with this trajectory. I'm just drawing this trajectory. First, it was the standards as we had in the pre-Islamic period, pre-Islamic, coming to early Islamic and Umayyad. Then the Abbasids, so it was only the first Abbasid phase that things remain intact, powerful. But the later stages, like the Ottoman, the later stages, second, third, and fourth, of course, they represent the times of decay. So from here up to the Ottoman times, until then, of course, the Renaissance period, Arab Renaissance period, or the Nahda period. So up to this time, this moment, everything was intact, and from here it starts the phase of decay. So here at that time, at this point, we have this awareness among the Arab thinkers, reformers, poets, manipulators, that this sorry state of things, this weak scenario of language and literature must be revisited, must be reformed. And this reform has to come from two sources. Since language as such, Arabic language or any language, it must stand on its own roots. If it is uprooted from its own soil, from its origins, then of course it will be losing its existence. It would be meaningless. It will be something very weak. It would be blown by the winds of time. So it has to re-establish itself. If there have been some weaknesses, it has to re-establish itself on the firm grounds, and these firm grounds are related to its origin. So from here we'll be finding new classicism, new classicia, represented by the first generation of the reformers, Mahmoud Sami al-Barudi, Hafiz Ibrahim, Ahmad Shawqi, and others. But they were aware of the fact that the classical paradigms in their totality cannot be taken, cannot be accepted, cannot be applied in the modern life, in the emerging eventualities of society, in politics, in culture, in paradigms of culture, education, etc. So here, the second source comes, and this is the source. This source is to be identified with Europe, the Enlightenment period, and the things that came out of the womb of Enlightenment period, like the modern concept of language, modern concept of literature, and how life and issues of life are to be represented in that domain of language and literature, how things are to be modified, and how some of the institutional bogeys are to be defeated, are to be chased out, like excessive idealism, the classical obsoletes. So classical obsoletes are to be just set aside, because they just form the hindrance, they hindered the addressal of the actual face, actual vigor, actual facets, actual charm amid the issues facing humans. So here we'll be finding that modernism, and of course in association with postmodernism, is related to this. With this, we'll be concluding this lecture. Thank you very much.